Yes.
The answer is a lot.
The answer, my friend, is a lot. I'm playing an ad real quick, and then we'll.
You're playing an ad.
I had it. I know I had it. I had it queued up, but then I had to start the song over. No thanks. I don't want to download your music player. Ridiculous.
But also, if Adam or any of those guys do end up watching the show and I do my picks, we're doing a MMA pick'em this week because there's no football pick'ems. So I'm basically giving away who I'm picking on the show.
Nice.
So they're all going to get a leg up on me. It's pretty fun, by the way. The fight pick'ems.
Let's do that again.
Yeah, let's try one more time, baby.
Hey everybody, welcome to the show. I didn't even ask you guys if you can hear that music or not.
Oh, that was nice, man.
Yeah.
You hit me in the goods, and I liked it.
Help me hit me in the goods. You speak the true.
You just rattled me.
My goodies, not my goodies.
Welcome to the show, everybody. Sports program, Saturday the 27th. It's exciting. That means there's one more. This is it. This is the Saturday before we're live and it's all together.
Wow.
And I'm excited about that.
I like that.
Oh, I like that.
Oh, I like that.
Now I'm very excited for you guys to be up here. We actually have some sports topics today. That's exciting as well. Huh?
Oh,
Huh?
boy.
No Dragon Ball Z talk this week, baby. I always say Dragon Ball Z talk, but we rarely talk about it.
That's my fault. That's
I
my
mean, don't count your eggs before they're in the basket. You know.
Okay.
Don't count your chickens before they roost. And I've always said that.
That's a very common saying. I've always said that.
Yeah. Don't count the eggs before you have them at the store because you don't know if they're to date. And if they're not to date, you're not gonna buy them. And if you're not gonna buy them, then you can't count them.
Yeah.
Well,
That's the saying.
Yeah, I'm gonna get it on a hat.
As my great grandma always said.
When you're at the store and there's chickens and there's because they're there, and when they have eggs at the store, you shouldn't count them until you've got them in the thing. And then when they're in the thing, I mean, do you want to bleach them so they're white, or do you want them brown, or sometimes they're not even either color? And
Yep. That's a very common statement. If you are as excited as we are to be all together next weekend, you'll also probably want to come by the Wooden Nickel on Friday and come see us and say hello, because we'll be doing a little live streaming there. The Wooden Nickel is the unofficial bar of sports program, and it always has been, and it's always been that way.
yeah, it's always been that way.
It's always been that way. And we're gonna go hang out there on Friday next week, the 3rd, and we're gonna talk a little sports, but we're also just gonna drink some room temperature
Twisted tea half and half.
and
the official drink
gonna be a lot of fun.
sports program.
It's gonna be the official drink of sports program.
I can't wait.
The official drink of summer 2006.
I mean, I'm gonna drink Bud Light Lime. You guys do whatever you want.
Also the official drink of summer 2008.
It's not it, dude. It's been the beer of summer since that summer.
Do you remember the Summer of Lime, the very first time you ever did Summer of Lime?
Yeah, it hasn't stopped.
No.
I think that's what brought us back together as friends, because like I hadn't talked to you very much, and you were like posting Summer of Lime on all your pictures.
Yeah,
And I was like, I need to talk to this guy more.
yeah. And then you came and drank on my porch.
Yeah, and
That
then
must have been when you first started reducing the amount of Mickey's photos.
Yeah. Yeah. I drank a Mickey's last night.
I don't deny that you still drink Mickey's, on the regular. I'm just saying you don't post as many pictures on social media about it anymore.
Yeah. Well, you can only take so many.
There's only
pictures
so many
of 'em.
angles of a Mickey's you can get.
Yeah, it's like when people, girls and guys, I was gonna say girls, but guys are just as guilty of it that post selfies because there are a type of guy who just constantly is snapping those. There's always so many angles, so at a certain point, like half of their Instagram just looks the same.
It's the same thing, yeah. I think I have a few hundred photos of just me and my cat that are the same angle.
Well,
Zach, do you remember, real quick before we move on to anything sports related, do you remember when do you remember when I was always like, God damn it. I confronted you and I was like, God damn it, you always have like people with you who like love you and take pictures of you at these locations, and you're like, no, it's on timer, bud.
Yeah, it's just me.
I was like, I just kept looking at your photos and just kept feeling so bad about myself because nobody takes pictures of me.
It's not on. It was on timer sometime, but most of the time. So I have this tripod that I'm using right now as a webcam, and it came with a Bluetooth remote, so you can just snap a photo whenever you want, and if you hold it down, it makes a video instead, which is great for the Snapchat when you're trying to get weird and things like of that nature. And, You guys know. And I saw there were 0 viewers currently, so I'm like, I'm just gonna go there. It's just us.
We went from like 8 to 0 real quick.
Yeah, it's because we started talking about selfies. So
still a fun story.
No one else was ever taking those. I took those photos, and the reason they all look good is because I took 100 each time. And narrowed down to the 4 that looked okay, and then I sat there for 3 hours and debated between those 4 on which one I'd post on the internet, and I'd also edit each of the 4 to like 4 or 5 different versions,
right?
Depending on the photo.
And I
edit.
didn't know any of this. I just thought they were all spur of the moment, just photos of, you just. People loving you and just taking a photo.
No one loves me.
Oh, okay.
No one even likes me, so.
That's not true. If I was with you, I'd take a picture. Oh, hey, you know what? Speaking of that, we're going to have to take our signature photo.
Huh? I lost you for a second.
Oh, we're going to have to take our signature photo this weekend, too, this coming weekend.
With you holding me?
Yeah, like we're on the Titanic.
Like you're at prom.
Yeah.
Like you're at prom or I'm at the edge of the Titanic.
Like we're at a prom together.
So, Sean, are you doing your show tonight?
Yeah, I got some. I'm gonna do a little quick pop on, pop off.
What do you got going on tonight?
Yeah, what are you drinking?
Oh, it's like Smirnoff something. It's some awful thing that Bridget found.
Nice.
What?
Just hold. Please hold.
I wonder if it's like those Batista commercial seltzers.
I thought those were the ones you had.
You don't have the same ones?
Well, I thought those were like the popsicle pop looking.
Oh yeah, these aren't those?
No.
Oh.
I posted this show to my story, by the way, in Facebook. I found I had a few more viewers with Smart Mark Wrestling Radio on Thursday by doing that.
Well, and it goes to this too. It goes to sports program.
Yeah. Oh boy, it goes to everything now.
And I think that helps because I think there's a few people who have the automatic notifications turned on for sports program, and then they quickly close it after our show starts every Saturday.
Yes, that's fine though.
They open it, they support, and then they get the fuck out.
I like that. I'm fine with that.
Oh, please, just open it for a hot minute so we get the view.
It'd be nice if they throw a like on there too, but that's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay, baby.
It's okay. I actually don't even like the likes. I like the little care emojis where they hug the hearts.
For sure. Yeah.
If you're not going to care emoji the show, then I don't want you here.
I would take a real heart too. I'd take a heart. I'll take a love.
Yeah, but a thumbs up is patronizing to me at this point for any reason. You ever message someone like on the direct messenger and all they send you is a thumbs up back? I'm like, does this person fucking hate me?
To me, sometimes the thumbs up is also heard or seen. So like in our group chat specifically, like sometimes when I'm scrolling up to look at the stuff you guys have posted, I'll thumb. Who was that? Scott Rivers.
Love that.
Thank you, Scott. Seen.
You get the Seen. Just to let you know, it was seen, heard, and seen.
But I'll do that. I'll do that on our group chat though. I'll go up and thumbs up some of the actual pictures just to be like, I saw this. This, I see what this is.
And on Instagram, right? I'll post like a photo on my story, and then someone will comment, and I always like try to leave a comment back, right? Like I don't want to keep a conversation going with you, but I just want to like send a quick little couple words back to let you know that I'm acknowledging you. What some people do is they just like the DM, right? And they never respond, which is something I think is fine as well. But I'm just saying, if I do that to you, like if I only respond by liking it, it means I hate your fucking guts. So like,
that's good.
Even if I barely know you, if you comment on something, I will always say words back, right?
Does Sean have some dust off there? Oh, no. Okay.
Are you going to do dusters instead of...
He's not.
No, I'm taking whip hits, dude.
He's taking some whip hits and dust off.
Wouldn't that be so funny? I couldn't find any new alcohols tonight, so I'm just going to be doing whippers.
So, Bridget found these. Spiked Sparkling Seltzer Pina Colada. My light making it hard to see.
Yeah, the lighting just...
I think it's not this light. It's like my window right there.
You're like D on that episode of It's Always Sunny where they're trying to get the bar an award and they just blast her with lights to make her look attractive.
Anyways, this is what I'm doing. It's a premium malt beverage with natural flavors. 90 calories, 0 sugar, 1 gram of carbs, 1 carb.
Are you working on your summer bod? You're getting pretty for us, huh?
You tell me, brother.
Oh yeah, I like it. I like what I see.
Anyways, and I'm drinking one of these right now. It's a local.
For our friends out there, make sure you check out twitch.tv/HomeRunJack to watch his stream tonight.
These are super good.
I'm getting pretty good at doing this, you guys.
They're called the Pink Lady.
Yeah, you're like our producer.
This is a sour. You like sours, right, Zach?
Oh, everyone knows I'm a little bitch boy for sours.
Yeah. This one's super good. Pink Lady. It's grapes and plums, dude.
I'm a little baby bitch boy for sours. I'm like 12 over.
Everybody's always known that.
I mean, I totally did know.
Everyone's like, wow. I bet if Zach was here, he'd be throwing a fit for this sour.
So it sounds
exactly
like
would be.
When we go to the Wooden Nickel, the official, unofficial sponsor of Sports Channel.
Hit them with the logo.
So it looks like we're going to have to drink a sour. We're going to have to drink a Bud Light Lime. We're going to have to drink a half and half.
Mm-hmm. I don't think Brian's got
some
any
Fireball.
And they definitely... We're going to have to bring our own Fireball,
too. He doesn't have any Fireball, sadly.
What? Why?
Because they have a beer and wine license. That's it. It's a beer and wine.
It's a pub. It is a.
It's a pub. Yeah,
okay,
it's
awesome.
a pub.
Good.
It's a local. I think that's when you could say it's a local watering hole.
So are we gonna be real? Just take it back 10 years. Just be real pieces of shit and take Fireball shots in the parking lot.
Well, so me and
Derek,
I don't
know why we wouldn't do that.
Derek, and Bree actually. Do you remember when you got us all a pint of Fireball? Was that Micah's wedding?
That was for Micah's wedding, and Bree did that.
Bree gave us all a pint of Fireball to go to the wedding, and we all finished our pints at the wedding, and there was like free beer, and we each had like a few rounds of that. It got weird.
It did.
I feel like everyone else there was a lot more sober than us, like by a lot.
Everything you're describing to me right now sounds like a great time.
It was awesome. I had a blast at that wedding. So
also that's where we took one of our first beautiful photos. We can work Sean and do the photo now too, and then we'll put it as our logo for a sports program.
Yeah, he's getting in the train. I just want to know that I just have to decide if I want to be sandwiched in between you two or if I want to be the front bitch.
Right. I also still really want to get that photo at a Blazers game in Portland against San Antonio. I really want to show the unification, of the two sides.
Right.
You could be against each other, but still be together.
That interesting that you brought that up. We don't have to dwell on this for too long, but can be the first sports topic of the day. The classic, since we're all Ducks fans now, the classic Civil War rivalry between the Ducks and the Beavers will no longer be called the Civil War.
Yeah, I did.
Oh, because of everything. Because of everything.
Yeah, and as a Ducks fan, and them being the Southern team out of the two, I never really liked the analogy. Especially because in that particular game, the South always wins. It's just a bad look.
What are they going to call it now?
I've heard jokingly the platypus custody battle because it's beavers and ducks. I was like, that's genius. They won't call it that. I don't know. I have no idea. I'm more interested to hear what the new name is because in the era of social media, I know a lot of people were like, well, there's traditionalists out there, sports traditionalists, who are going to say, it's just the name of a game. Why do we have to change it? But I think in the social media era, we're going to get some really good suggestions online. Like when you can literally get feedback from the whole world, you're going to get a good outcome, I hope.
Yeah, I think so. What they should do, I mean, I'm always a fan of like a naming contest too. I always think it's fun. So like, let's vote. Let's vote on what we call it. It'd be fun.
Call it like it. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I don't know.
So what's the Washington one? It's the Apple Cup.
Yeah, there's not really any others that are probably like stepping on any toes, but I mean that's kind of where we're at right now. Like they had to change. Obviously, earlier in the week we had Lane Kiffin and Mike Leach or whatever, right? The two Mississippi coaches both go to the state capitol and protest about getting the flag changed there. So I mean, things are really commingling right now.
Yeah.
For anyone who likes to say that there shouldn't be any commingling, well, guess what? That's where we're at. So
yeah,
we're mingling. There's co involved. It's commingling.
I mean, they could just be like, it's the Civil War, but then I'll keep showing footage of like the Avengers.
Right. What's fun? Yeah. So what are they going to do? Go back and change the name of that movie too?
Well, that's the thing is in the game or in the comics, it literally is a Civil War.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Call it the Goonies Bowl. I like that.
Oh, the Goonies Bowl.
Share that. Someone live commented that.
That's
Goonies
good.
never die. Yeah. That's for sure. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, I do like that.
The battle for the Goondocks, son.
Who's Riz Nation?
I had no idea.
Oh, that's Randy. He's
Randy.
He's a contributor / listener on Smart Mark Wrestling Radio.
Ooh.
And actually, we're talking about doing something gaming wise.
Oh.
Little gaming thing.
Little game action?
In the talks.
In the works. It's in the works.
Gaming podcast / we'll figure it out.
I know a guy.
I know you know a guy.
Mm-hmm. So then the other thing, because you mentioned Portland and San Antonio, both teams are back in action July 31st.
So, how do you think the Spurs are going to play? How do you think they're going to do?
Well, so the schedule came out last night, which I would love to bitch about.
Yeah, please do. Please do bitch about it. You have a platform for it.
Thanks,
and
guys.
when you have a platform, you should speak out and use it.
Okay. Well, since I do, I'm going to speak my truth. And
speak the true.
Mine is that when everything's shut down, the Memphis Grizzlies, who are in the 8th seed, have the hardest remaining schedule remaining. The Portland Trail Blazers had the easiest remaining schedule. San Antonio not too far behind them. And I think the Pelicans were somewhere in the middle of the road, right? Out of all 30-something teams, they were right in the middle for how hard their remaining schedule was. Well, now, last night, the schedule gets released. And now the Pelicans have the easiest statistical 8 remaining games to play. And it's pretty obvious why. They want a Zion versus LeBron opening round game, because if they get the 8th seed, then that's what's going to happen, because the Lakers are definitely holding on to the 1. And so it's like, obviously they put ratings first. Like, they're about making money right now. And so what's going to get the most ratings when there's no fans? And that's definitely...
Sad.
Yeah, and so... Yeah, I mean, I wish the Knicks were playing, because then maybe we could pepper in some games against them for teams like Portland or San Antonio.
This
But
was me doing a pepper.
that being said, I actually looked at San Antonio's... I looked at San Antonio's schedule remaining, and it's actually pretty cush compared to other teams. We're going to have chances to play Memphis. We're going to have chances to play Portland. We're going to have chances to play the Pelicans, which we were going to have chances to play both Memphis and the Pelicans anyway, so I'm glad they kept those games. That being said, though, LaMarcus not being there, just opting out and deciding to have surgery, I would say practically eliminates us unless the young guys like really rally. But I think this is going to be a veterans game once the season returns. So I think I don't care what they did to help the Pelicans as far as the scheduling goes. I think Portland's only a half game back. Actually, no, they have identical records, but they're ahead technically in the win, like whatever. Who they've beaten strength of schedule. I think Portland easily either takes the 8 seed or keeps the 9 seed and gets the play-in game, and then I think they beat Memphis. I think it's an old man's game, a veterans team game. So I think Damian Lillard, CJ McCollum, Nurkic if he's healthy, Zach Collins if he's healthy.
Boy, and I've seen so Zach Collins is not huge on posting like workout videos or anything like that. I think he's a little more he just keeps it under wraps. Nurkic is though, and he looks great. I mean, obviously we haven't seen him in like a game where he's getting contact and stuff, but he looks great for what you've seen from what we've seen in the workout.
And I think we're all excited to see what Zion looks like, right? Like, what version of Charles Barkley is he going to be when he returns?
Hopefully the golfing version.
Dude, did he get... I mean, here's the thing. Did he get, like, COVID-15? Like, did he get the 15 pounds from COVID?
Well,
No.
I don't know if you saw they talked about it this week, but I guess someone in the camp said that he looks better than he ever has, and he's like going to look so good, and he's like taking all these steps forward, and it was like an anonymous like team contact, and I can't remember who it was on ESPN, but they were just like, that could be anybody. Like, that could literally be anybody saying that. So who cares?
Yeah.
I think, I don't know. I'm still not on the Zion train, and I think this is going to be. So here's what's interesting. This is
I like him.
Yeah.
I like him.
The other thing that drives me nuts, I understand it's all about ratings, but there's not that many teams left. We could find a way to get all these games televised, right? People are dying for sports. Out of the Spurs' 8 remaining games, 1 is televised, and it's the one against the Pelicans. They've already agreed to televise 7 of the 8 Pelican games. Wow. And that's only because the 8th one hasn't been. They haven't picked who's playing that 8th.
Why are they the top televised?
Because Zion. It is because Zion.
Not even that. Is he? How has he done this season?
He hasn't played that much. I mean, he's only played a handful of games. He took the league by storm.
Yeah,
I think it's because he's the next, like, he's the anointed guy though. Like, he's the next.
I don't think he's going to be that good.
I mean, he might not be, but they've anointed him though already. Like,
you shouldn't do that. You shouldn't premature everywhere like that.
You can't pre all over.
You can't pre
all over, man.
If you pre, you're going to be embarrassed.
Okay, so maybe my problem is I just don't like him. I don't like the way he plays. I don't like his style. I don't know.
It definitely doesn't fit today's NBA, but because of that, it's why he's so successful.
Yeah,
because
I think you're exactly right, Zach.
You can be undersized and just feast. He just feasts down below, and
it also does not hurt that he seems
compared, right.
Huh?
He's not as tall. Not as tall. No, compared. He's still pretty tall. I mean, he's taller than.
Big guy. I mean, he's big. He can jump. He has hops like insane. So
yeah.
He's not a forward or a center height though. He just plays that way. He just plays under the rim with centers.
I think it also doesn't hurt that he does seem like a nice guy, and people do seem to genuinely like him too. because he just seems like a nice guy.
I think Lonzo's a nice guy, but everyone hates him.
Yeah, I mean they're actually like that team's full of like even Drew Holiday, like that team's full of like good dudes. That being said, fuck them.
Yeah.
So
fuck them.
I'm not gonna like New Orleans for any reason, and you can't make me.
No.
And they took two Lakers players that I really liked last year.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm not gonna like them. I'm not gonna like them right now because they're in contention to take our spot, and I want the Blazers. I think the Blazers with Nurk, man. I think I personally, and I have a bias here because I've been a lifelong Blazers fan since 2018 August.
Yeah.
Lifelong diehard fan since August 2018. I genuinely do think though that if they would have had Nurkic in those playoffs, they at least wouldn't have been swept by the Warriors.
Could be.
Could be.
Could be. I think next year, do we get the sophomore slump from him as well?
Here's the thing, yeah.
I think this is the last year for Baker Mayfield to do something.
I think you're right. I wanted to tell you to slow it down, but you're not wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the thing is if he does do something, then
they'll keep him now.
Yeah.
I just hate it, man, because like I've said it before, and I've said it on here. When he came in after what's his name got hurt, Tyrod Taylor.
Yeah.
Right.
When he came in after he got hurt and he just drove down and got that touchdown, dude, it was so pretty. And I was like, this is it. This is good. And then it just wasn't.
That was also electric. It's very similar to Zion, that game against the Spurs, where he all of a sudden, after them controlling him for like the first three quarters, he comes off the bench and drains like 4 threes in a row and puts up like 21 points in like 10 minutes. You know what I mean? Like,
who coached the Browns after what's his name was fired?
Freddie Kitchens.
No.
Williams took over.
Okay. Has anybody else wondered how the season might have been had Freddie Kitchens not gotten that spot and had that other coach just kept that job?
Well, Williams went to New York as their defensive coordinator, and I don't know. He's had his chances to be head coaches before. Like he was the head coach in Buffalo, and he rubs people wrong. I don't think he's the guy to be the leader of an entire team. I think he's a great guy to lead a defense, but. Yeah, Greg Williams, I wouldn't make my head coach, and they knew that. And also, people were rallying behind Freddie Kitchens, even though he was dog shit, even though he might have ruined Baker Mayfield in one season. Because Baker Mayfield's only going to be a third-year quarterback, and we're already like calling for his head. Do you know what I mean? Well, we don't do that very often. And we're like,
well, yes, we do.
I mean, Mariota got to his 5th year. Winston got to his 5th year.
But those are...
And we're still rooting for those two. I mean, a lot of people are still rooting for Mariota and Winston.
Mariota, he made playoffs, though, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but I mean, Baker's only played 1.5 seasons.
I like Derek Carr, but I genuinely want Mariota to take that spot.
But here's another great example. Derek Carr made it to his second contract. I think times are just changing in the NFL because... We're in this quote unquote golden age that everyone talks about, where every team's got a backup now, and it's always good to not re-sign a quarterback if you can. Like never give them that second big contract, because then you can load up on other pieces. So things are changing. We're seeing it like right in front of us. But I don't know if in Cleveland the pressure on Baker is the same as it is in the media, right? Like. The media has created that this is Baker's last chance. It's not like Cleveland has indicated that in any way.
As we just, I don't know.
It's just all speculation.
So I guess that's where the big difference is between Zion and Baker Mayfield is Zion's still in that window right now where he is absolutely the future of the Pelicans, the future of the league, according to the media. You know, he's the next LeBron James. He's been anointed, pretty much.
I think that's silly.
Yeah.
I mean, it is that way though. I mean, he has been anointed that he is the next LeBron.
Like, the college or like I don't know LeBron's.
LeBron didn't play in college.
LeBron didn't go to college.
Yeah, exactly.
And Zion only did because he had to.
Zion wouldn't have. He would have been drafted immediately.
So did he have the high school?
So the difference between the two is LeBron came before the social media age, which means that his hype was just completely based off of like news stations and the build up. And what's crazy about LeBron James, it's crazier than anybody else ever, is they found him at a super young age and anointed him as the next Jordan. And then he has done absolutely everything to live up to the hype. Because he's not the next Jordan. He is his own thing. He is at the point now where people debate who's better. And they've been doing it for years now. So he's the only person I can think of in my lifetime, except for maybe like we have the potential to see it with Trevor Lawrence, who we've known about since he was 18. We knew about Andrew Luck really early, and then he lived up to it as long as he played. But still, LeBron, even younger than anybody else. They found him before the social media age started, and he lived up to the hype. Zion was a social media sensation, Sean. So he was put on the internet at a very young age because he was dunking on children. He was destroying them. He looked like a full-grown man among 12-year-old boys. And he just had this monster physique, and his dunks were incredible even as like a young kid. Now, that's got to be the difference, though, is that Zion is like this undersized power forward center who has absolutely incredible second jump and athleticism and dunking ability and not necessarily known as anything else, where LeBron really learned how to take over every facet of the game. So now even like older LeBron hits those like 30-foot three-point shots, right? Like he can do it all. Beautiful. He can facilitate whatever. We don't know where Zion's going to go. We don't know what the trajectory is. We're just hoping he lives up to the hype. Right. And he seems like a good kid and a hard worker, but he is a little fat. And but it makes sense. He's 19 going on 20 or 20 now, and like
great movie.
Exactly. So I don't know, but no, the hype's real. We'll see next year. The thing about basketball, why it's different, and the only reason it's different than Baker, is that Baker is a quarterback. You are the centerpiece of the team, even though you don't even play defense, the whole team is like, who's their quarterback? What are we going to do with the quarterback? If Zion doesn't pan out, it's not like the Pelicans are going to cut him and he'll never play basketball again. He's just not the number one guy on the Pelicans. That's the difference in basketball. It's like Baker can't all of a sudden be the number 2 talked about guy on the Browns. He's either their quarterback or he's not their quarterback.
Well, and actually a really good example of that would be Dwight Howard.
Right, you can easily be the man and then not be the man anymore in basketball, and then still have an extreme. Look at Vince Carter. The dude just retired after 20-plus seasons. He went from being the man, the next Jordan, because he was from North Carolina or played in North Carolina, had the athleticism, maybe more than Jordan, actually probably definitely more than Jordan, and everyone anointed him. And then even after he started to kind of fall apart because of injury, and then just some other stuff didn't go in line, probably because he played for Toronto for a while. Even though all that happened, he still played forever after he was no longer the man. Baker Mayfield will not do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The hype has been built up so much that if he is not a starter, he might give being a backup a couple seasons, but he's not going to be a Josh McCown who at 40 years old is still backing somebody up, because it's all or nothing for a guy with that mentality, I guess.
Yeah, and I think you're probably right, because Baker views... I think Josh McCown is a great example of somebody who knew very well what his place is. I think Ryan Fitzpatrick is probably the same way. Like, he's just like... he's like, I'm a backup quarterback. That's what I am. I'm lucky when I get to play. I want to play good when I get to play. Hopefully I can train the next guy to be good. You know, hopefully I can be a good mentor. And I don't think Baker Mayfield has that.
That's the thing about Fitzmagic, is like, when he's good, he is good. And it is fun.
One thing I noticed real quick is, I don't think things that go directly to my share of this go to the thread, but my buddy Nick brought up a good point that it's also like LeBron's in year 15, and Zion, I don't think any of us even expect him to go that long unless he changes his body completely, because he is a big, beefy boy. And the bigger you are, the harder you jump, the harder you fall, and the dude lands
He's
hard.
his own worst enemy right now with
Right.
injuries because he lands so hard and he's so heavy. And boy, I mean, when he hits every time he dunks, when he hits the floor, you're like, God, that's just it's a broken ankle waiting to happen.
And you don't even have to be his size to have this problem. Think about young Derrick Rose. The guy was a force. He was a freak.
And he has a whole different build than Zion.
Right. Yeah, exactly. But he attacked the basket. And even look at even smaller players like Allen Iverson, who is his entire career was built on attacking big guys underneath and just going at them. Zion,
I love AI.
Zion, even though he is a big beefy boy, he's going after centers right now. Like, you know what I mean? He's getting down below and battling them. How long can he do that? How long can he have these like monster dunks and lands with already having injuries? A lot of questions. But yeah, I think to say that he's not the real deal, I won't say that. Healthy Zion is already a force at that age. But can he keep it up? Can he build an NBA body? There's a lot of stuff we need to know. And it's crazy to say build an NBA body for a guy who looked like he had an NBA body at 12 years old. So, but there's levels to it, right?
Yeah.
He had a man's body at 12 years old, but he didn't have NBA athlete LeBron James monster body. Because, like, LeBron's never hurt, right? Like, he's been hurt, but never, like, really hurt.
Not bad. I mean, not. I mean, his worst injury was probably last year. And even then, they were starting to look good before he got hurt before Christmas.
They were gonna. I thought they were gonna go.
Well, they were starting to turn it around with all those kids and LeBron. I mean, remember Zach? We talked about that.
It stopped the playoff push. It did stop the playoff.
It did.
Push.
It made me sad, man, because I was like, they're gonna make the playoffs, man.
Because they started looking like a real formidable team, honestly, with all the young talent and then him on there.
Do you guys think, and I probably not, I think they would have went after Anthony Davis either way, but do you guys think if they would have made the playoffs, they would have tried to keep the young guys on the roster?
Maybe.
I'm pretty 50-50. I'm not 50-50. I'm like 60-40 on it, right?
Because, like, Lonzo and Ingram were playing really good ball last year.
Well, we're not even talking about Ingram when we're talking about the Pelicans. Like, because even though he is the best scorer on the team, probably prospect-wise, just because he's built like Kevin Durant, has the best potential future, and we've been saying that about him for a while. Yeah. We don't talk about him because he doesn't fucking talk. And so Lonzo's dad has done so much talking, we're going to mention Lonzo first. The hype around Zion, we're going to mention Zion first. And then, like, a lot of us still mention Drew Holiday just because we love him. Like, we know he's the veteran of the team, probably the best defensive point guard in the league. And so Ingram, who's really is like the glue that they need to make a run right now to the playoffs, we don't even talk about him.
I love him. I was sad when he left.
But
there's a part of me that thinks if they would have got to the playoffs with that squad, there is a chance they could have kept the people there. They did do one thing that we thought that they would do, which is they kept everybody till the end of the season. Remember, they didn't do the mid-season trade. They kept that whole squad. Even with LeBron on the bench, they kept everybody there till the end of the year to go, all right, let's see what we have. I mean, they actually did follow through with it. Let's see what we have before we just get rid of pieces. Also, let's see how some of the good of these pieces might look to trade them off to get what we need to get.
Right. They ended up in a good spot, obviously. 1 year later, the 1 seed.
They did not. I mean,
Anthony Davis got all this time to rest, which is good for a 7-footer at this point in the year.
Yeah.
LeBron got all this time to rest, which is great for 35 or whatever year old LeBron, or 34 or whatever he is.
Yeah,
so
same age as me.
This is going to be a veterans playoffs for sure.
Yeah, I think so.
That being said, Clippers win it all by and I don't think it's close.
You think Clippers?
Clippers, man.
After having all that rest as well,
think about Paul George. Think about they already were resting Paul George and Kawhi already this season. Almost, you just got to wonder how those shots are going to fall. Like, Are we going to be seeing normal playoffs like that we've been used to with the Golden State Warriors, where these crazy threes are falling in like large quantities, or is this going to be some really sloppy basketball?
I think there is one team that will be good on threes, and I think it'll be the Blazers. I think the Blazers will still do threes good because I think not that they have to. They don't have to, though.
And maybe they all will, because all these teams have, like, think about Houston. These guys have just been sitting around in gyms shooting. Like, Harden might have a whole new, definitely a travel trick shot that he does by the time this is all back.
Well, can we all agree that Houston will still not be the team, though? They will not be the team.
I don't know. So as much as I'm saying this is a veterans league, they have veterans, by the way. The whole team is a veteran. Right. There's no young guy on that team. I don't know. We're going to see if this benefits physicality. If it benefits physicality, we're definitely looking at a Milwaukee Bucks Lakers finals because LeBron and Anthony Davis are going to beat up the West down below. If we're talking about a perimeter game, then I like the Clippers. And then I still like, I still like Milwaukee because they do shoot the lights out. But I really like Boston in that scenario because they have 3 starting wings that are all like 20-point-a-game guys plus Kemba Walker.
Is Kevin Durant playing, though?
No. He said even if he was healthy, he would probably not play, which is just easy to say when you're not healthy. But
okay. So the Nets are ruled out then. Not yet. I do think that when it is finally Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant, though, I do think that will be a scary East team. I actually do think that.
Do you think they'll be talking about how the Earth's flat, though?
Well, Kyrie Irving will.
That's what they'll use their platform for, to speak their truth about how flat the Earth is. Kyrie will also talk about other things that are probably important. You know what? They should just give the Wizards their spot if they're not going to bring Kyrie or Kevin, in my opinion.
What's the point? Like, if you don't even have Kyrie Irving playing, what's the point of them even being there?
You got to get your young guys some run time in, man. Like, think about all these young teams that aren't getting to play anymore. Like, they're going to probably sit 8 to 10 months out of basketball altogether with no play.
Well, yeah, it's crazy.
It's crazy to think about. I don't know. It's interesting, but that's too long. And I agree with the Pistons coach who said that there should be like an 8-man or an 8-team tournament for the people that aren't invited. Like, send them to Vegas, give them a tournament. Why not?
Oh, I like.
You know, the young guys would love to go to Vegas. They'll take the Rona. They don't care.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing is I don't think they're not playing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but they want to play like competitive basketball. Give them a summer league. Give them an 8-man or an 8-team tournament summer league, but like let them bring their starters.
That'd be fun.
The new draft isn't until October. Like there's no summer league for the rookies. So
and now they're gonna push the NBA, right? They're gonna push it.
Right. So because of that, I think that means the end of summer league because the regular basketball is going to be going on during this time. It's going to be winter league now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the new Vegas summer league is going to be in November probably now.
Which is too bad because the reason why summer league is so fun is because nothing else is going on.
Football hasn't started yet.
Right. Because I started watching summer league, nothing else is going on except for women's like NCAA softball.
Well, it's usually the dog days of summer for baseball, but I'd still rather watch. I'd still rather watch games that don't matter.
Which baseball is coming now. Baseball is coming now.
All over the place.
Yeah.
New rules. Designated hitter in the National League. And then extra innings start with a base runner on second.
Interesting.
Whoa. Just to get going because.
Let's get
God, who wants to watch 15 innings?
So the DH thing, I've always kind of thought that was a matter of time, just before we did that.
So you know, because of traditionalists, these are just 1-year rules. These are not, I don't believe, a part of the long-term collective bargaining agreement that's going to get worked on. These are COVID rules.
Right. I think the designated hitter rule though should stay. I really do think that one should stay. I think the league should be more like each other. I think that's weird that one of them does and one of them doesn't. In fact, I actually didn't know for the longest time that they didn't because I'm a Mariners fan.
Right.
So I've always had, Nelson Cruz as a DH, so I didn't know for the longest time that wasn't a thing.
Well, and I've always been a Braves fan, so I've always thought that you guys' rules are bullshit. So they're kind of cheating. Because the best thing ever is to see a pitcher walk up and just knock one out of the park.
Well, yeah, and on the Cubs you see Lester do it a couple times. Lester
Yeah, but
would hit a homer.
what about 42-year-old Bartolo Colon last year? Like, what could have been his last at bat was also his first career home run, right?
Can we just take a moment to mention how much I love Bartolo Colon?
Oh, if you don't, then you're not a
I
citizen of
love
Earth.
big old heavyweight Bartolo Colon out there playing baseball at 44?
43, 44.
43?
He wants to come back this year.
He does.
He's gonna be topping out fastballs at 84 miles an hour.
He's still good.
He's got junk. He's got good junk, yeah.
Got good junk?
Yeah, he throws junk, man. He throws straight up junk.
I hate baseball now.
Do you remember a couple years ago, he was that last year or the year before, Zach, where Bartolo Colon did, we were doing the show in the studio at the time at the school. He did that no-hitter, though. That was such a fun game where Colon did that no-hitter. And it was like the ugliest no-hitter that ever existed, too. It shouldn't have been a thing.
Right. That was awesome.
But he did it. He pulled it off, man. And I think now to date, right? He's the oldest pitcher to ever do a no-hitter.
Well, I'm sure he is.
It was fun.
I don't know what Nolan Ryan's last no-hitter was.
I don't either. And Nolan Ryan played long. Yeah. Sean, you're not nothing baseball.
Man,
Why not? Why not?
I'm sad still.
I think you could still
It's
love
Nolan Ryan.
Yeah, okay.
He did it at 44. 7-inning no-hitter for the Texas Rangers.
I just looked that up too. 44.
You could be a Giants fan.
My brain told me Nolan.
I mean, I'm a Dodgers fan, and I will be a fan forever. But they got fucked.
Oh,
they got fucked.
I mean, a lot of teams got fucked though. I mean, it's not just
it's not just them, but them especially because they were in the World Series.
I mean, a couple seasons ago, the Yankees probably should have been in that series.
Yeah, they should have been there. And also, but the Dodgers were.
Or what about how many times the Astros play the Mariners per year? How many wins were taken away from that?
Well, that's just because of the Mariners. But
man, I don't know. There are times early in the season when the Mariners look like they could be a real contender. It happens every year.
That's probably when the Astros aren't cheating. They're getting into the swing of things, getting their codes down.
They don't need to
getting the wirings.
They
don't need to use the extra.
This is all really hurtful.
They don't need to use the extra data on their watches.
Such a piece of shit. I hate you both so much.
Save a couple bucks.
This is what I want. I want Portland to get an MLB team, and then I'll divorce the Mariners finally.
You can't divorce your team. It's impossible.
I can't. I will.
I've tried to get older and leave childhood teams in the past. You can't do it. It's so
I know. It's just it sucks, man. It sucks being a Mariners fan. It's the only Seattle team I like. I fucking hate the Seahawks.
When Oklahoma City got a basketball team, I tried to transition. I was like, I'm gonna like whatever team Kevin Durant's on. When I was I don't know, sophomore or middle school, sophomore in high school, I was like, I'm gonna like whatever team Kevin Durant's on. I tried it for a day, and I'm like, fuck no, that's not happening. There's no chance of me hopping on.
Since I was never a huge fan of any particular team, that was good timing for me because I was watching basically whatever team Steve Nash was on at that time. So I was a Suns fan, then a Mavericks fan, then a Suns fan.
And you can't divorce Steve Nash.
Dude.
Fuck no. They just had him on. Have you guys been watching High Tops?
I don't know what that is.
It's a show on ESPN where they just basically, I think it's a social distancing show, honestly. It's a guy with like a camera, and then he's introducing like top 10s for all these players, like top 10s defensive plays, offensive plays, funny stuff they've done. Anyway, they featured Steve Nash on High Tops. I think it was a couple weekends ago. It might have been last weekend, and it was so fun. It was so good. It just brought back so many memories of. Steve Nash is still all-time my favorite player. I mean, probably a close second would be Allen Iverson. But
top
Steve
3
Nash,
for sure for me.
Oh, dude, Allen Iverson. Also, by the way, Sean, I know we've talked about it to you and you haven't watched it, but on the Big 3, like Allen Iverson was great.
Oh yeah, I've heard it's great.
I think it's a lot of fun. I love the league.
Big 3?
Yeah.
I watched it a little bit. I mean, I was happy when Steven Jackson was in it. Killer threes, baby.
It was cool to see Allen Iverson playing, though.
Yeah, he just didn't do it very often, right? Like, he was like, I'm going to play a lot, and then he ended up kind of just being a coach most of the time.
Yeah, he was a player coach from the beginning, and then he just went and coached.
I love,
too bad.
What is it called? The Big 3, right? That's what it's called?
Mm-hmm.
I love it because I love Michael Rappaport.
Oh, me too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you don't love Michael Rappaport, you're not a citizen of Earth.
He's so funny.
I mean, he talks the real shit. So, and he's a Knicks fan, like Riz Nation over here. So he knows the same pain.
Like the RZA.
The Riz Nation.
Man, the Knicks is a tough team to be a huge fan of. They had great years with Melo though. In the beginning there.
Well. That's even harder, right? Like having like a 50-win team back to back years, or back to back years, because they had like a 50-win team and then a terrible team, and then and a 40-win team and then a 20-win team. That's even worse, man. It really is so hard to like a team that just gets knocked out of the playoffs in the first round. I'd rather them just be bad and get draft picks than keep barely making the playoffs and then just get shit on.
So the childhood team thing, I think I agree with you both. I do think it's hard. I'll probably always be a Mariners fan, but I'm lucky enough that I do like other teams from other cities in other sports at least. So while I'll always like a losing team in baseball, at least I enjoy the Blazers from basketball. I'm a Steelers fan still. At some point in my lifetime, the Steelers will be a really good team again. They always do. At one point,
next year.
I do actually think the Steelers will be good this coming season.
They will be, because their defense is too good for them not to be.
Right.
I was almost a Knicks fan, by the way, because the first finals I ever actively remembered watching was the lockout year, the year after the 98 Bulls. I mean, I was a fan of the 98 Bulls because I kind of I remember being forced in front of the team. Yeah, exactly. But 99 was when I was I'm going to pick my own team.
Yeah.
And Kerr went over to the Spurs, and there was a lockout year, and they played the Knicks, and I'm I'm going to like whoever wins this. But as as I was watching, I was no, I just like this team with David Robinson and Tim Duncan, and Sean Elliott and Avery Johnson, and it was it's Steve Kerr, and it was a cool team.
Yeah, I think. I mean, when Jordan retired and finally we ended the era of the Bulls is when I was I got to start figuring it out. And for the longest time, I did like the Suns because I also like Charles Barkley. So I was okay, I could do this. I liked Barkley on the Rockets. I'm okay, I was just follow players though.
He was ring chasing so hard.
Oh yeah, when Steve Nash was on the Suns though the first time, and then the second time, is when I genuinely thought I would be a Suns fan though forever. I thought I would be genuinely a Suns fan, but as soon as Steve Nash went to the Lakers and then retired, I was I don't care about the Suns. It was just Steve Nash. I do think back on those times though. If Steve Nash and Amari Stoudemire would have won a championship in Phoenix, I might still be a Suns fan. Probably.
Takes a lot for you to say something like that, They would have won me a championship.
I think if they wanted, I know, because that was in the center of when I was really following basketball, and I was following Steve Nash so hard. So when him and Amari Stoudemire were playing together, if they would have won and went and won a championship, I probably would still be a Suns fan, like regardless of where Steve Nash went or Amari Stoudemire went. And that was a tough year, man. They lost against the it was a tough couple years. But especially the big one where they lost against the fucking Spurs, and god damn it, they couldn't pull it out because the Suns was a scoring team, not defense.
Right, and we just slapped our junk across their face.
God damn,
brutal.
the Spurs were such a good defensive team. It was just no way.
Right, and now we're terrible at it, so things have changed.
Well, it's because you don't have.
That's because we don't have a team full
players.
It's because we don't have a team full of,
Well, even the
Hall of
Spurs,
Fame defensive players.
even the Spurs' weakest defensive player was still better than anybody on the Suns defensively.
Yeah, well, D'Antoni his theory is literally you score more points than the other team, you win. But you know what helps with that? Defense.
Yeah.
That's another way to get more points than the other team is to make them score less than you.
Steve Nash didn't play defense.
Well, how could he? He was a less gifted athlete than any person he would cover on the court. Which is why people like Steve Nash.
Yeah.
But he had a hell of a shot.
He could run fast, too.
Well, and he was like a former soccer player. That dude could run for days. Like
I mean,
he never got tired. He never got
I
tired.
think that was part of the things I respected about him, is that the guy was just like on the court for most of the game, running back and forth, just running and running and running. Because of soccer, you're right.
Right, and he's not a camper, right? So yeah, it makes sense for him to constantly be moving when he has the ball because he's a point guard. But even when he didn't have the ball, he never stopped moving.
Yeah.
Which is also why a lot of those guys don't play a lot of defense, because they're always have the green light on offense. It makes sense.
Mm.
Like you can't even older LeBron had to give up being the best defensive player in the league because he has to do so much for his team on offense. You just can't do it all. But of course, when the playoffs start, LeBron finds a way to kick into that like extra gear where he's
he finds it again.
I'll do as much as I can on both sides at least. So he might not lock you down on defense, but he will get those really cool chase down from behind blocks and things like that.
That year that the Cavs, the year the Cavs won the championship is when I like LeBron. I've liked LeBron since he's entered in the league. I was not a Cavs fan because I don't like anything in Cleveland, but I liked him. I liked him. And I do remember during that series, though, where I was like, man, it's easy to forget what his basketball IQ is, though. And watching him come back down from 3-1 and win that whole thing, I was like, oh, yeah. You are one of the best basketball players that's ever lived. Oh, yeah.
It's sad that people just hate him so much that they don't even like
want to put him there.
If they're the most diehard Jordan fan, they're like, no, LeBron's shit.
Well, and it's easy for people, Sean, to hate the next big thing, which is probably why some of us don't like Zion. Now what's going to happen, a lot of people like players in the twilights of their career as they get older. Yeah. Like even Kobe haters, when Kobe started putting up buckets in his late 30s, especially his final game, people go, man, this guy was a legend. Even people that always hated the Lakers. And what'll happen is if Zion does somehow end up in the NBA 12 years down the road, even people like me and you who don't like him now because he's the next big thing are going to be like, oh, man, he's still playing. This is fun. Yeah. And
I just don't even like his style of basketball.
I'm so happy to be a bandwagoner from the beginning because if he is playing 12 years from now, I'll get to be like, man, you remember that show where I said I liked Zion and I just still do?
I just don't like his style of basketball. He's not the kind of basketball.
I think I like anything that stands out differently. I think at first when you see Steph Curry just draining threes 1,000 times in a game and you're like, man, this is something kind of weird, isn't it? And you're like, wow, that's super interesting. And then you see people like, I mean, especially when you remember, Zach, you remember when Steph Curry and Klay Thompson, that first year where they started shooting all those threes together.
Yeah.
It was just like the first Splash Brothers year where you're just like, Jesus, what the fuck is going on right now? This is crazy.
Yeah. I mean, so the prelude to that was obviously the ball movement in the 2014 finals with the Spurs, so that really led to that. I mean, it's a copycat league. They didn't do it first; they just did it better.
Right.
And it makes sense. Steve Kerr is from the Popovich tree, like ball movement, getting those guys open for three. But then, you're right. Once we started to see how easily Klay Thompson and Steph Curry could make it look hitting those shots, it was unbelievable. It took it changed the league completely.
Yeah, and actually, between the two of them, I actually prefer Klay Thompson. I actually genuinely really like Klay Thompson. If he was to enter to the Blazers right now, I would just open arms, be like, "Hey, welcome in, bud. You've always been on this team, right? It's never been any different."
I would say that till he was in one of the Avengers movies, and he left halfway through because he's like, "I just didn't get it." So fuck Klay Thompson.
Yeah,
No,
when I saw that, I was like,
no, I think it's because his IQ is small.
No. Well, he did go to WSU, so
yeah. Lit out.
that was a mean joke.
It was a mean joke.
Lit out.
It's fine.
I don't think we have any Cougars listening.
It's fine. I have a degree from Idaho State. I have literally no room to.
I only know. Well, who do I know that? Zach Andrews went to WSU. Who else? Jerry.
Yeah.
And Jerry's the most talented musician I think we all are friends with. So
yeah, and Zach Andrews is just a genius.
He's the most talented. He's really talented at editing movies.
He's really talented at everything because he's really fucking smart.
Yeah.
You know what? I'll take my state education any day.
Let's go.
Here's the thing, though. You had talent without going to college. Those guys needed it. You didn't.
They needed to get learned.
I still had to go to college.
Yeah, for actually longer.
I'm just trying to make myself better because
I did actually have to go to college. Actually, Sean, you're more successful than me, and you have no college education. So, I mean, really, college it's up in the air whether or not it's even worth any even.
So here's the thing: is my wife does good. I just am along for the ride.
That's even better, man. That means you actually really did it right.
Oh yes, yep.
Yeah.
And I hope she hears it, and I hope she knows, and I hope she walks in and gives you a new thing.
She knows.
And then she goes, "This is yours now."
But you can still go to college for the wrong things. Zach has a bachelor's and is doing more with that degree than I will ever do with a master's.
That's not true. You're going to change people's lives.
I
already am through this show. Yeah. But Zach's on the show too. So
the show?
Yeah.
Well, didn't you help Zach go to you helped Zach go to
I was moral support. I was moral support.
Probably more than that. I feel like he was more than that, right? I mean,
I was like a family support.
I'm going to talk for you, Zach, on this one. I think you did more than that, bud.
I was there and got
me
to
through
see
the
him.
dark days.
Yeah.
But we could say that. But I think you got me through the dark days, bud. I think you going to the place that I work for school was the highlight of me working at the place that I work because I got to see you all the time.
Yeah.
And then we got to do a radio show after work.
That's James really Walters cool. Here. This is Grandpa.
Pat.
Grandpa Pat. Go ISU Bengals. I agree. Grandpa Pat. Go ISU.
I do agree because their football team was good once.
Is Grandpa Pat a former Bengal?
I do not know. I don't know.
You guys lived down in Pocatello, though, right?
Honestly, yeah, I did. He lives in Chicago area.
Okay.
And but he did live in Idaho and California. So
okay.
But yeah, my dad went to ISU.
You can adopt the teams that. Okay, so your dad went. Okay.
And my stepdad and my dad and my mom.
Okay.
Oh wow.
So you can adopt those teams, yeah.
My mom graduated. My mom, who is the home health nurse for Mimi Poo Health out in Lapway, graduated from ISU.
Oh, very nice. While while the Bengals don't have a great football team or basketball team, I was genuinely excited to start going to school there though, to have a team that is like an NCAA. I mean, because I went to LC and we have NAIA, and don't get me wrong,
And no football team at all.
No football team at all.
Well, don't they have the Lumberjacks?
They don't count.
No, they don't count.
Why?
Because
they're not even affiliated.
No, not even a little bit.
But they tried to be, didn't they?
They are still trying to be. They're not going to be, but they are trying to be. I like the NAIA sports from LC. I go watch them. I enjoy them. I think they're great.
The Warriors
are
a great team.
Yeah, and so it was excited for me to go to the ISU though, because I was like, oh cool, like I have a dog in the race now, because I typically would just like a team, a college team, like one of those people that just doesn't go to, when they say like we did this, and it's like you just like he lived in Pokey, now he lives in Champaign, Illinois.
I went to Chicago and I didn't tell them, and he was really mad at me.
Well, Grandpa Pat, it's probably easy to become fans of a team though when you live in the area though.
Yeah.
Actually, realistically, I grew up a Vandals fan. I grew up University of Idaho Vandals.
Yeah,
which is rough.
That is rough.
God,
but man, is it a party?
It is a party. The only years that they were even remotely fun to watch as a football team was when Rob Akey was the coach, and it's because Rob Akey is just nuts, man. The guy is just like
Akey's Army.
Oh my God! You remember those interviews that Akey would do, and he didn't breathe. He would just like, yeah, we gotta get out there. He's like, we gotta get out there. We gotta throw more touchdowns. We gotta catch more passes. We gotta
we just gotta actually
play football. I'd be like, breathe, Rob.
You can. You're allowed to.
Yeah, the ISU Bengals were really good in the 80s. When my parents went to school, their football team was really good, actually.
Yeah. I just got
and I think what happens is
Brandon Reynolds, bring him back. Yeah, I agree. Let's bring Rob Akey back.
I mean, but they still weren't good.
No, they weren't.
But no. So yeah, I think that's what. Oh,
a little.
So I want to go back a second. Jesse Knight would mention that's why people hate Tom Brady. Same reason as LeBron. It's just success. People hate people that are really good.
Yeah.
Especially when someone's still playing and they call him the GOAT. I watched a debate between I can't remember what show it was yesterday, but it was interesting because of what I said to you guys the day before. Yesterday I saw a debate on if you could redraft the NFL, who would you draft first overall? And everyone was torn between, it was half and half, Pat Mahomes and Tom Brady, right? One, if you could draft Tom Brady to any other team besides for the Patriots, would you really do it? Do you know what I mean? Like, over Pat Mahomes, over Aaron Rodgers, over these, even if Andrew Luck would have played longer. I'd
take Brady over Rodgers.
See, to me, that's crazy.
No.
Because
so here's the thing is, I know Brady plays, Aaron Rodgers is amazing, but Brady plays safe football, man.
Who does?
Brady, are we talking fantasy? Or are we talking fantasy?
No, we're talking real life. But the thing is like Rodgers the last season or two has kind of gotten knocked for the same thing. I don't know if you paid attention to that, but the dude can literally throw it into a basket from 60 yards away, and he's not letting go in the same way than he was before. And it could just be the lack of weapons. But I think Brandon Marshall said yesterday or the day before that the Packers have always done a disservice to Aaron Rodgers. And I said the day before that, I just had the thought, can you imagine Aaron Rodgers ever once in his career playing for an Andy Reid team? Situation in football is everything. What Pat Mahomes got out of Andy Reid, what Tom Brady got out of Belichick, it's like the perfect storm. And that's what sports are all about, right? What Rodgers got out of Green Bay is like he almost won a championship in spite of how bad the pieces have been sometimes they put around him.
They do him dirty, man. It's not. I agree.
And you don't take like Pat Mahomes is really just Aaron Rodgers 2.0. So, and we always say 2.0 now because of the start to his career.
Yeah.
They might not be too different overall talent level wise.
Yeah, I don't know. I think.
Well, and we need to see what Papa Pat's saying. Coach made Brady. So you put these certain players.
We'll see this season if that's the case.
100%. But no, even if we see, he has a cop out, man.
But Bruce Arians,
because he's 42.
Well, Bruce Arians is a good coach too, though.
Well, so the choices you've said though, between the three of them, because I honestly, if we're not looking at injuries, I would probably take Andy Luck between the three of those, between Brady, Rodgers, and Andy Luck.
Well, pure just specimen wise, all three are very similar. They're all pretty mobile, great accuracy, great arm, and intelligence. They can do it all. They throw just as good out of the pocket as in the pocket. They can create, but they're also, if they need to be a traditional style quarterback, they can be. Tom Brady is just a pocket quarterback. Just a pocket quarterback.
Oh, yeah. No,
he is a system quarterback. And now we're going to find out what he's like with a different system, and I'm really excited.
Different system, but he has crazy weapons. He has insane.
Oh, you can't even we thought Mike Evans was a future top 3 wide receiver, and now it looks like Godwin is top 3, top 2.
Insane.
And they have both, and they might both be top 5. I mean, it's
and Mike Evans didn't.
Maybe Mike's 6 if you think.
So where do you throw Ben in the mix then?
On if you could redraft the league?
Yeah.
And they were all the same age? Is that what we're saying?
Yeah. Same age, redrafting the league. Where do you throw Ben in that?
Well,
mix?
He's won 2 Super Bowls.
Right.
So I don't know. If we're talking about any active quarterback right now, sure, I'll take Pat 1. I'll take Rodgers 2. Russell Wilson 3. And honestly, Russell Wilson, imagine Russell Wilson playing for Andy Reid.
Oh, God. I don't want to imagine that.
Imagine Russell Wilson or Aaron Rodgers with ever a decent amount of talent around them. Now, I do like what Seattle did last year getting Metcalf, and I think that they can continue with Lockett and Metcalf and a few other pieces to progress. But they're always gonna put young skill position players around Russell because now he is an expensive quarterback.
So if we're saying
I would take Russell over Ben. I would take Russell over Ben, I'd have to say.
So I guess it's two different questions. If you're redrafting quarterbacks, or what quarterbacks could have done with Andy Reid as a coach,
that's a whole different thing.
Because it is. So, I mean, I would say Russell Wilson with Andy Reid, amazing. Pat Mahomes, amazing. I do think Brady would have been amazing with Andy Reid. I do think Ben would have been amazing with Reid. I do think Andy Reid is that kind of coach. I mean, I sometimes look back at those Donovan McNabb days and think, man, I wish he would have won that Super Bowl. Because
going to 4 NFC Championship games, and then he finally got T.O. and they made it to the Super Bowl, right? And man. But just think about what any quarterback could do with Andy Reid. I mean, it's truly it's a real thing.
So I guess the thing that makes me interested in Tampa Bay this year is the fact that Tom Brady does have Bruce Arians for a coach. And we've seen what Bruce Arians can do with an old quarterback, because we saw him with Carson Palmer, and I thought they were fantastic with Carson Palmer.
Yeah, but Carson Palmer's a bigger boy, bigger arm.
Sure.
He had robot legs. I mean, there was no bringing that dude down. He had new ACLs given to him from, I believe, children.
I believe so as well.
From across the world. So, yeah, if we're talking about if you could draft any quarterback to the Patriots, then yeah, sure, Tom Brady, because he fits that system, because he's a stickler and his work ethic and everything fits that culture. So if you're saying Andy Reid, I'm going to go Mahomes, Rodgers, Russell Wilson, Andrew Luck. Well, Andrew Luck's not active, so we'll take him out of the conversation. If you said Bruce Arians, I would also say the exact list, though. If you said Bruce Arians, I would still say Mahomes, Rodgers, Russell Wilson. I wouldn't put Tom on that team over any of them.
So for me, I'm going to go tied between Mahomes and Russell Wilson.
And hear me out here, because Aaron Rodgers' days are numbered in Green Bay. What they should do is, as soon as Brady's done in Tampa, switch him out, bring in Rodgers, same year, just do it all again. Just keep subbing in guys on the last year or two of their career. Bring them in, drink some cocktails with Bruce. You know, Rodgers and Bruce Arians would be just pure drinking buddies.
What about Rodgers and Shanahan?
Oh, that'd be nasty. But I know you don't want Rodgers on your team.
I like Aaron Rodgers, man.
Oh, I thought you didn't.
No, I like him. I just I don't think he's better than Patrick Mahomes.
Well, I think ultimately what I was getting at is that we'll never know.
Yeah, we can't know because they're literally decades apart in age.
Right.
No, it's more realistic to compare Mahomes and like Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, which I would take Mahomes over Lamar Jackson.
Well,
I would take Lamar Jackson.
I would take Patrick Mahomes. They're two completely different styles of quarterback. Lamar Jackson, if he really is Michael Vick 2.0, then he might have a pretty short career. And even last year, they were saying they don't. Like, what happens when the speed's gone? He is.
Oh, I just saw a stat on him too. He took off. I can't remember what it was. How many yards he had rushing? How many times he took off with the ball? He slid twice. He doesn't slide at all. I do think I like what Colin Cowherd says about Lamar Jackson as far as like if he wants to keep playing the same way, he probably should hire like a baseball coach and practice that slide. I do genuinely think that's why Mahomes and Russell Wilson and guys who played baseball, Kyler Murray, I do think that helps. I think that baseball slide helps. It puts longevity on your career. You're not getting hit as often. You slide, you're sliding to first, basically.
I mean, that's what I feel is I feel like Lamar Jackson's just going to end up like Cam Newton.
Yeah, and he's got less of a frame too. But to counter what you just said, Derek, some people just can't learn that, especially later in life. A great example is if you watch the Michael Vick documentary, they brought in a guy from the Braves to teach him how to slide, and he could never figure it out.
Well, what's so hard about figuring it? How do you just slide?
In the middle of a game, though, in the middle of like a situation where you're scrambling for your life, I just don't think that it processes the same way. And they said he wasn't very good at it. Have you tried to slide before?
I played baseball, baby.
Oh, well, that's why you get. That's why you don't get why it's hard.
I think that adds to the point, right? Is that Kyler Murray and Russell Wilson and Pat Mahomes played baseball, like they.
Yeah.
So it's ingrained in their mind. Slide. No, I guess that makes sense. I mean, like Michael Vick, if he never was a sliding quarterback ever, he never played baseball ever. It's just not going to be your thing. Like you're just not going to. But Lamar Jackson is young. He could learn now, maybe. I don't know.
Same age they tried to teach Vic, I'm pretty sure.
Oof.
So
yeah, that doesn't bode well. That doesn't bode well.
They're not the same person, though. They're not the same person.
That's true.
But so what Jesse Knight is saying over here, no Roger Niners. He's a Niners fan. I'm just talking hypothetical, not.
No.
Obviously, I'm not like
Garoppolo's got at least another year or two. Yeah. To prove himself, and I think he'll do just fine.
I love Jimmy Garoppolo.
Oh, I love me some Jimmy G, and everyone knows that.
I think the team has their quarterback for the next few years at least. I think, especially if they keep going, if they keep making playoffs alone, they'll keep Garoppolo. Even if they never go to another Super Bowl again, if they keep getting
that's going to be a really tough division again, though. I think it's crazy to think the Rams are going to be like probably last place in that division because Seattle's going to be good. Kyler Murray, I think the Cardinals will keep getting better.
Cardinals are going to be terrifying.
I would say terrifying. You guys' defense will handle them just fine. You guys have a superior defense to their offense.
Hopkins, Kirk, Drake.
You're right. But it's like we were talking about basketball earlier. You also have to play defense, man.
Baby.
And so still think the Niners and the Seahawks are the top two teams in the division for now.
And that's what I always forget is to think about what my team has, like the defense now. And after getting what is his name, Kinlaw.
Yeah. You're a young, great defense.
Right.
Kinlaw.
You're a
and-
young, great defense and a young offense as well.
What's that?
That's what makes me hopeful on the Steelers too. Young defense right now.
Yeah.
Like
Great.
Trent Williams, who just replaced Staley, is now the old guy on your defense at like 31, 32 years
Yeah.
old. You know what I mean? Like when you're old man on the defense or offensive ends in his early 30s.
That's hopeful.
What's Nick Bosa? Nick Bosa.
Yeah, that's
Exactly.
hopeful. That's very nice.
Yeah.
That'll be
So-
good.
And end of the day, no matter who's on that offense, you guys have Kyle Shanahan as a coach, which means straight up, like, the running game is there for days.
Right.
You could
Yeah.
bring in just all new running backs, like 3 brand new tailbacks, and he would be just fine.
Oh, nice. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Oh, Jimmy G's the man. And you know he's just laying pipe all over California too.
Dude.
Like, dude.
Yeah. If he doesn't have HIV yet, I'm shocked.
No,
Yeah.
dude. He's banging women who have to get tested regularly for their job.
Well,
He-
but
he
that's,
raps-
that's not all he's banging.
He wraps his rascal 2 times, so it's
Well, that-
sensationless and completely without pleasure.
Yeah. It's so he can last longer.
It's just for duration,
It is. Yeah, it is.
So I worked at this
not for
book,
safety.
I worked at this book place, and a bunch of people there kind of like football. They're posers. I'm gonna call them. They're posers. They know about football and they act like they like it, but they don't.
They don't even play fantasy.
I found out Jimmy G was banging a porn star, and I was like, cool,
Yeah.
man. And they were like, he's disgusting.
Oh, jeez.
That's disgusting. Like, they're just people.
They're just people. You know what?
Yeah.
You got to support those guys.
I know.
Gals.
Yeah.
Whatever. And
Like I said, it's probably safer for Jimmy G than other options.
she wasn't
Probably.
she wasn't one of my go-to porn stars, but still, whatever.
I don't know who it was, but I'm gonna look it up after the show.
I don't know who it was, but I'm looking it up right now.
Yeah, I'm looking at them right now.
Yeah. So what? Hey guys, when are we wrapping this up? What
Yeah.
Zach, do you want to do?
I might go camera off for the next 45 to 55 seconds.
Before we call it a show, do you want to give some UFC picks for tonight?
I mean, we are playing. Let me go ahead and pull it up because I don't want to say who. I flip flop so much, especially on tonight, guys. Like the card, since I joined the Pick'em group that we're in on ESPN, I have wanted to change every single one of my picks. I'm trying really hard not to tinker. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to try to just read off who I picked already and not change this while I do this. Am I logged in? I might have to do it from my phone. Let me
Okay.
do that. Give me a
That's
second, because
You're good.
the main event, Poirier versus Dan Hooker, I have gone back and forth on over and over and over again.
Mhm.
It looks like on ESPN, over 80% of the fans have picked Dustin Poirier, which, if you look at his track record, I understand. The guy has like gone through the absolute gauntlet since he came to 155. He beat Justin Gaethje, who's a former title contender for sure. When he beat the Underground King Eddie Alvarez, I was extremely impressed as well. Obviously, beating former 145 champion Max Holloway, super impressive. All the way up into Khabib, which is the first time he's lost since coming to the division. And then Dan Hooker, 7-1, also since coming to 155. So really similar story. Doesn't have the same track record, but is kind of on the up and coming end of it. What in sports in general, think about when someone loses the Super Bowl, right? They like hardly ever, I think San Francisco is going to change that this year, by the way, but they hardly ever even make the playoffs the next year. Unless you're the Patriots, you do not recover well from losing a Super Bowl. It is the same in MMA. You do not lose a championship bout and then usually go out there and destroy the next person you go against. I literally like spent the last 24 hours trying to find an example of someone who did. Like, let's think of one like team in basketball, football, any sport where they like lost the championship and then they bounced back really well. Basketball is probably the only one it ever really happens in consistently, because the same two teams meet in the finals every year. So that's probably the only reason it happens. The odds makers are giving Dustin the slight favorite. The fans are giving Dustin like a huge advantage because we're used to seeing him beat total studs. We're used to seeing him beat total studs, so it's easy to pick Poirier. But he hasn't fought since the Khabib fight, since he got just worn like a straw hat. You know, Khabib, that's what he does. He wears you like straw hat. He wrestles you like grizzly bear. And then he just embarrasses you. I mean, I think that's the same reason Conor had to take. That's a good point. Stipe did bounce back against Daniel Cormier, and that was against the same person. So almost the only time you see it in sports is in the rematch. You don't see it against someone different. I did also pick Poirier originally. I tinkered. I am going with Dan Hooker because I'm riding the hype train. I also like Dan Hooker. He comes from the gym in Australia where Adesanya is from and the 145-pound champion is from. He just comes from this gym where they won Gym of the Year last year, and they're monsters. So I'm going to go with Dan Hooker for the main event. I probably won't cover all of the other picks just because I feel like it's a bunch of people probably don't know about. The co-main event, though, I do want to cover. Mickey Gall, who beat CM Punk in that first CM Punk fight, is fighting. Don't know how he got a co-main event because he still really hasn't beaten anybody. He's beaten a bunch of people that are CM Punk caliber. and then he choked out, a few years ago, he choked out that blonde tip pretty boy who was in the UFC for a while Sage Northcutt, that everyone thought was going to be.
Brandon thinks that the Mickey Gall fight's going to be the one to watch.
So, and Mike Perry is being cornered. I wanted to know what Brandon thought about this. Mike Perry is not bringing his team with him. He left his team in Florida, I believe. He's with a new team in Texas.
This is the guy bringing his wife?
He's bringing his wife instead of his cornerman. His wife is a Zoe Cornerman. And he's a minus 300, which I think is really interesting because Mickey Gall is now up at TriStar, which I think he's been since the Sage Northcutt fight, which he has to have worked on his stand-up tremendously. He's already a great ground game, but if this stays on the feet, which Vegas thinks Mike Perry will be able to keep it that way, he's going to knock him the hell out. Like, unless we see this Mickey Gall version that we haven't seen before where he's developed something we haven't seen yet. But that fight is worth keeping an eye on, like any other Mike Perry fight, because he's a sociopath or just an absolute crazy person. His interviews are amazing, by the way. So win or lose, they're going to interview Mike Perry, and that's going to be reason alone to watch it. And then the other is just that the main event is Dustin Poirier is just a really cool guy to watch. Like, he's literally like going and giving enough money to a restaurant to feed like everyone who's in it tonight, who's like there. He's just like, anyone who's eating here eats for free, and like he gives a ton of money away to charity. He's just a really good dude, and I think he has a very different reputation than a lot of fighters. So, like, your heart tells you to root for him, but then also I just have this gut feeling that it's Dan Hooker's time. So, it'll be interesting watching the weigh-ins.
Watching weigh-ins, Perry is crazy, but not bringing your corner is like having an LM play QB. That's pretty good.
It's just interesting, man. So, like, Mickey Gall's going to come with one of the best cornermen on the planet, and the other guy's coming with his wife, who, I mean, I don't know what the over-under is on her wearing pink etnies, but
should we place a bet?
There's got to be a prop bet on will his wife be chain-smoking cool cigarettes and wearing pink etnies.
Sure they're not clothes?
They could be clothes, but clothes are for posers, man.
Well,
she's the real deal. My bad.
And she is the real deal. Like, I have a weird feeling she's gonna forget the sanctified rules of MMA, and at one point Mike Perry's gonna tag her in, and she's just going to climb on top of the cage and flying elbow.
So who is it?
Onto Mickey Gall. His name is Mike Perry.
Mm-hmm. No, who's the wife?
I don't know what her name is. He says it all the time, but it's like. Oh. I swear it's like Yolanda or something.
Is she not? So she is she loves wrestling, or she was a wrestler?
No, none of that stuff.
Oh, she's God, just a crazy person.
Okay. Oh, so she's just gonna she doesn't know the difference between MMA and wrestling.
I don't think she knows the difference between a lot of things. He's gonna find me and murder me. Like Mike Perry will hunt me
Well,
down.
he's a big fan of the show.
He's a huge fan.
Oh god, that's good.
This is gonna end up on some clip reel where he just murders the crap out of me. But I genuinely think she might. I think if she fought Mickey Gall, she might also be a minus 300 in Vegas. Is what I'm saying. So, by the way, Derek, remember how we used to play a game where you would ask me how much money it would take for me to get either in the cage with Ronda Rousey or Brock Lesnar or whoever?
Yes. Great game. Good times.
They started playing that on ESPN with because Mike Tyson announced that he's coming back to boxing, and he's even like obviously challenged a couple people in the heavyweight division, even for the title. And then also him and John Jones in MMA have been like bantering on social media back and forth, where John Jones has said, I'll box you if you'll MMA, like get in a cage with me afterwards. And he goes, I'll even take it easy on you. Like John's like, I'll even take it easy on you, Mike. I won't hurt you. Like I promise not to break anything on you, I think is what he said. But Mike Tyson's making his comeback at 53 years old.
Right.
And he looks insane, man. Not like heavyweight championship of the world insane, but he looks crazy and
He looks really good.
Well,
Yeah.
why is he doing it?
just because
he
it's
can?
Mike Tyson. He's bored,
So
man.
did he challenge what's his name?
Who?
Best boxer of all time?
Well, no. Who he challenged specifically? Well, he's challenged a few people now.
I wouldn't box him.
He challenged the what's his name? He's the Gypsy King. You know who I'm talking about?
Yeah, Tyson.
Tyson Fury. Yeah,
Tyson
he
Fury.
challenged Tyson Fury. I don't know why Tyson Fury would do it other than money, but I think Tyson Fury would dismantle him. Obviously, he's the best boxer in the world. But I'd still watch it.
I would watch it.
I'd still watch John Jones versus Mike Tyson.
So would I. Yeah.
Because the thing is,
Who's that one boxer that I can't think of his name right now?
the only thing I missed it, Floyd Mayweather. What
Yeah.
about him?
Why wouldn't?
They're like 100. They're like
different weight
100.
classes?
They're like 100 pounds apart.
Yeah.
But here's.
I don't think so.
So they've been asking people on ESPN. I think it's on ESPN how much money.
$300.
How much money it would take for them to get punched by Mike Tyson in the face. They keep asking people that on like Get Up and other ESPN shows, and I'm like, me and Derek used to play this every week.
Yeah, they took our game.
That's our bit.
They took our bet.
Well, they're big fans. I know they're not going to give us credit, but
It's like that episode of Workaholics where they ask how much money it would take for Adam to suck a dick,
No,
and
no,
he's like,
real
and he's
talk.
Like, he's
Not
like,
about 900.
If I'm being real with myself, like 900, and he's like, I said 9,000.
Uh-huh.
I love that
Yeah.
episode.
Yeah. Okay, so who are your picks then?
I'm only going to take the final and the co-main event.
Okay.
I think Mickey Gall. I'm not betting. I don't care if his girlfriend or wife is in his corner. I think Mike Perry is a superior athlete. I don't think it matters that he'll have no game plan at all. He's just going to go in there and fight real good. I think that's going to be enough because he's just that much more of an athlete. Mickey Gall could prove me wrong, but I think it'll be on the feet long enough for Mike Perry to knock him out. If it goes to the ground, obviously Mickey Gall wins. I don't think that happens. Similarly with the final main event, I think what Dustin Poirier is really good at is closing range, making it a boxing match, and outstriking people even when they're bigger than him. But Dan Hooker is so good at using his range. I think he picks them apart, and I think he gets a TKO in the fourth round. So I'm going fourth round TKO for Dan Hooker. If you follow my ESPN pick'em, I have only one total knockdown in the fight because I think that one knockdown Dan Hooker gets in the fourth round is something Poirier doesn't get up from. It's Dan Hooker in the fourth. Believe it.
believe that. You heard it
Believe
here.
that.
And it will win fight of the night. And it'll win fight of the night. So believe that.
Very nice.
Oh, I'm also, I didn't mention this because I don't even remember who he's fighting. But Luis Pena is also fighting. They call him Angry Bob Ross, and I'm also taking Angry Bob Ross in any fight that he's in.
Okay.
So Luis
Very
Pena
nice.
as well. Slap him in there for what.
You
for
saw
what
that
it is.
Mike Perry and his wife parted way.
Oh, so it's his girlfriend then.
Ooh, does she have pink kidneys?
Probably.
I'm assuming she looks identical to his ex-wife in every way, which is why I didn't know the difference.
Thank you, everybody, for listening to the show. Best friends. Speaking of best friends, we are going to be live in studio next weekend. We are going to be live at the Wooden Nickel, the unofficial bar of sports program. Very excited for that. Very excited to see you gentlemen here. Very excited to hang out with you gentlemen at the Wooden Nickel with our friend, our mentor, no, just our friend, Brian Nygaard. Excited to hang out there. Come check us out there. Come hang out. Come watch our show on Saturday.
I hope there's cornhole.
Hopefully there is some cornhole. Yeah. Also, this coming week, make sure you check out Fighter Fest on Wednesday night. Night 1 of the 2-night pay-per-view for AEW. It's going to be free. It's on Wednesday night. It's taking the place of TNT Dynamite, which is going to be pretty awesome. I'm very excited about that. Genuinely very excited about that. Make sure you check out the rest of our content at timespentpoorly.com, including Smart Mark Wrestling Radio, where we talk about big sweaty men. On Thursday nights, Zach will be joining us as a co-host pretty soon here. Not this next week, but maybe the week after. We'll figure it out. But he will be joining us where he can help us do some top 5s. This coming week, we'll do top 5. We did top 5 worst feuds this past Thursday, which was great. So we'll do a top 5 best for something. They're never as good as the worst, but it's a lot of fun. Thank you, everybody. Have a great weekend. Enjoy your lives. Enjoy your... stay safe, please. Go Warriors.
Go Warriors.